Hi, this is E.T. Totalitarian states, think of Nazi Germany or Communist Soviet Union, China under Mao Zedong, all demand that affections, including relations between parent and children, relatives with each other, friends, rank secondary to those of the central regime. Now, this often results in betrayals. Children betraying parents, relatives betraying friends, and so on. But I present now three examples representing opposing ends of the political continuum, but each proving that loyalty does continue today and can supersede attachments to ideology. This is Dean Acheson, President Harry Truman's Secretary of State. He took a hard-line stand against Soviet communism during the Cold War. And this is his friend Alger Hiss, a former high-ranking official in the Department of State and in the UN. Hiss was an advisor to FDR at the Yalta Conference, which defined U.S. diplomacy for the next three-quarters of a century. In 1950, Hiss was sentenced to 5 years in federal prison for technically committing perjury, but in fact, espionage. He'd been accused by Whittaker Chambers, an associate editor of Time magazine, of being a Soviet spy during the 1930s and maybe later. Well, Acheson drew big criticism from the right wing for saying, after Hiss was convicted, these words: "I do not intend to turn my back on Alger Hiss." This is Whoopi Goldberg, a panelist on a TV afternoon chat fest. She drew criticism, this time from the left wing, when she defended actor-producer Mel Gibson, and later Duane Chapman, you may know him as Dog the Bounty Hunter, after each was exposed on audio, making remarks that were anti-Semitic in the case of Gibson and generally racist in Dog the Bounty Hunter's case. And this is Mike Tyson, arguably the most devastating puncher in boxing history and the youngest man ever to become heavyweight champion. Tyson was criticized, mostly from the hostile social justice warrior left, for, well, political heresy. Tyson actually defended then-candidate Donald Trump. All three of the aforementioned people, Dean Acheson, Whoopi Goldberg, Mike Tyson, committed the ultimate bad thing, according to ideologues of both the right and left. What they did was place personal attachments above politics or ideology. Acheson's defense of Hiss differed a bit from the others in that, as Secretary of State, Acheson was defending a man, Hiss, found guilty of, in effect, treason. But Acheson believed that Hiss was framed, and I should note here that Hiss's trial was certainly politically motivated. However, later inquiry into the matter, decades later, by historian Alan Weinstein and others, plus released files from the Soviet satellite states, make it clear that Hiss was guilty as charged. But the thing to remember is that Acheson at no time suggested that he would defend a guilty Hiss. Whoopi Goldberg acknowledged that both Chapman and Gibson did, in fact, in fits of anger, say the things that were, to use that ill-defined word, racist. But Goldberg emphasized that she knew these men and would not be speaking on their behalf if she believed that they were actually racist. In other words, yeah, they said the words, but they did not mean them. Mike Tyson never addressed whether or not Trump's campaign behavior or remarks were or were not racist. He did emphasize that Donald Trump had been a friend to him when Mike was under attack. Trump, if you remember, years earlier stood up for Tyson when Tyson had been accused of rape. And Tyson said he will maintain that friendship, even though, as Tyson said, he knew that he'd be accused of being an Uncle Tom. I should note here that none of those critical of Tyson has yet walked up to him and confronted him directly. These three, Acheson, Goldberg, and Tyson, in my opinion, acted correctly by remaining steadfast in friendship, though never condoning their friends' deeds or words. The point being that close personal bonds among family and friends and community tighten, as Alexis de Tocqueville observed, individual bonds with each other and the community and eventually to one's country. Do you believe it? Tell me what you think. Put your comments below. Hit the like or dislike button. Share this video if you would. Do subscribe.